All right, what up, YouTube Live? Let's see. What up, YouTube Live? YouTube live streaming. Can you hear me okay here? Let me uh, let me double check real quick before I get right to you in a second here to make sure that uh, that it is on. How's it going, everybody? Let's see if I can change the thumbnail here to screenshot. There you go. Okay. All right, guys. How's it going? Today is Martin Luther King Day, MLK Day, and Dr. Martin Luther King is one of my all-time heroes, one of all-time greatest human beings. So if you are not from America or within America, you probably may not know him. I suggest, read up on him, and you will be inspired by what he did when he was alive. He was a civil rights leader, and he also at the end of his before his assassination, he was also championing efforts to help the poor, and he was all about fighting for equality and making sure that everybody has an equal opportunity, and everybody will be judged not based on their colors or based on their ethnicities or based on their sexual orientation. Everybody needs to be judged by the content of their characters. That's what Martin Luther King is about. So make sure you honor his legacy today. But I also want to talk to you guys today about what really got me really, really sad this morning. Let me just make sure that everybody knows that I'm live streaming right now. It's now live streaming on YouTube, discussing the death of Okay, so this morning I was struck by this news that on CNN, well, it's all over the web. Dolores O'Riordan, the lead singer and songwriter of the Cranberries, passed away in London today, January 15, at the age of 46. Holy smokes, dude, 46. That is so young. And I'm 34, so she's only about 12 years older than me. So I'm like, dude. And there's no explanation to the cause of her death at this moment. We don't know yet what caused it. She just died in, let's see here, in a hotel, unexpectedly. She died in London while recording a session. Now, for those of you who may not know who Dolores O'Riordan is, she is the founder and the front singer and the songwriter of one of the most popular bands in the 90s. I'm a millennial, so I grew up in late 80s and all of 90s. And so, yes, and the Cranberries is one of those bands that pretty much impacted my upbringing as a teenager. And even more so in Indonesia. I don't know if you've been to my country, my homeland. In Indonesia, the bands from Europe are often they're much more famous than the bands from America. I know when, living here now in America, it's like whatever music in America or whatever sports in America, it's like it's considered the whole world by Americans. But there's a bigger world out there. There's other bands out there in Europe. And I mean, I grew up listening to Michael Learns to Rock. I don't know if you guys know that band. It's also a poppy band from Europe. and some other bands I can't remember now on the top of my head. Of course, Oasis is my biggest one. That's from England. Now, in the '80s, I'm not a music critic. Okay, I'm not a Rolling Stone writer, but I'm just basing this on my upbringing in the '80s. It's all about classic rock and party on kind of rock and big hair, flashy outfit. In the '90s, early '90s, that's when things start to tone down a little bit, especially with the dawn of Nirvana and Pearl Jam. And a lot of people said Nirvana and Pearl Jam are just such buzzkill because they're not party classic rock anymore. They're just like depressed. And so and then the '90s, the Brit starting to take over. Britpop, it's not exclusive to just Brit. There's pretty much Europe Brit, man. Even what's that band called? I Saw the Sign. That's also huge in my country. And of course, I'm a Barbie girl. That's another Europe band too. And of course, the Cranberries is one of the many invasions during the '90s. That just pretty much occupied our radio stations, at least where I grew up. And so this hit me hard when I heard this news this morning, because it's like when you like a band, or when you like a musician, or when you like a set of songs, it's like there's a connection. It's like, even though I did not grow up with the Cranberries, I didn't hang out with them, but you as a fan can actually kind of have some right of saying that, because you've spent so much time listening to them. It's like they're with you, man. And I remember when I was a teenager, going through puberty and not being able to fit in, because I'm not one of the cool kids. I was a nerd. I just couldn't fit in, man. I even had to do my classmates' homeworks for them. That's how scared I was when I was a kid. Bullied into doing that. And songs like Zombie and Ode to Family, but written by Dolores O'Riordan, they're such soothing songs. Another band I like in the '90s is Lighthouse Family. Their song High is very, very uplifting. But back to the Cranberries, man. They accompanied me when I felt such an outcast. And if you look up the lyrics to Ode to My Family and Zombie, man, they're so poetic. Some of the songs of some of the bands out there, the lyrics are pretty, what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty straightforward. They're not necessarily poetic. They're not necessarily speaking in metaphors, or you gotta dig in deep to find the meaning, because they're out there, obvious, right in front of you. But bands like the Cranberries, Oasis, Lighthouse Family, and all these guys, Michael Learns to Rock, they speak in poems, bro. So it just hits you. At least it's for me. It hits me on all the right places, man. Even sometimes when I have to kind of, because back then there was no Google, so I had to dig deep and kind of do a research. Okay, what is it? What is the song trying to say? What are the bands trying to convey through these specific lyrics? But the interpretation that I take from songs like Ode to Family and Zombie, it's personal to me, and I'm sure you as a fan of Cranberries, it's personal to you too. You interpret it your own way as well, and that's what's beautiful about poetic songs like the Cranberry songs. Linger's one of those Cranberry songs as well that just like, oh man, it stays with you. They're so catchy. They're so soothing. Even though Zombie is borders on the hard rock, but it's still, man, it's the repetitive of the melody and the tune. It just stays in your head for days on end. Zombie, 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 hey, hey, in your head, in your head. Oh man. My mother, she hold me. Oh, so I'm really sad, dude. She was so young, 46 years old. What the hell happened? I'm so shocked. I guess that's the word I'm looking for. My prayers, my thoughts go out to Dolores's family, specifically Dolores's band members, um, and through to all my fellow Cranberries fans out there. I'm with you, man. I'm saddened by this too. I hope we can play and replay the Cranberries songs all day, um, in honor, in remembrance of Dolores O'Riordan. That's it. That's pretty much my memory, remembering her music. I never went to the Cranberries concert, not even once. Unfortunately, I never had the opportunity. Growing up teenager in Indonesia, I didn't have the money to. I don't know if they ever came to Indonesia. I think they may have. I think they may have a couple of concerts in Jakarta. But I never got around to seeing them live. I never had that opportunity. So it's just sad. Now I never will. Um, Unless they have some sort of a special tribute concert, to honor Dolores O'Riordan. But probably if that's ever gonna happen, it's probably gonna happen in Ireland, where they come from. So it's not like I'm gonna be flying there any day soon. So anyway, to end this video, play the Cranberry songs this whole day, on your iPod, on your iTunes, and remember the 90s fondly. Remember the 90s fondly. That's it. That's my live stream for today. Let's rock this.